cinegoer.com ప్రేక్షకులకు KNT Sastry తరపున శుభాకాంక్షలు. Oh, that's a very big name. I actually come from Chittoor district, and Chittoor district has a tendency of attaching their father's name also along with family name. So Kanala Nanjunda Tirumala Sastry. So instead of that I call myself KNT Sastry. No, I am not attempted. I am from Chittoor district. I am a Pakka Telugu person. Because its proximity to Madras and also to Bangalore, I know all the three languages. I come from a very modest Brahmin priestly family. అంటే పురోహితులు అంటారు కదా, అలాంటి ఫ్యామిలీని చూస్తాను. And it was a struggle. Like it was, I started my life in a place called Kola Goldfields, which is very near to my birthplace. My birthplace is near Palamneru. And as a typist. Those days, typist was a big. I remember my father-in-law flaunting to everybody, saying that he is getting 150 rupees pay, and he is a typist. Because of the circumstances in the house, I thought I have to prosper in life, and as I was doing the job, appude Mysore University introduced distance education. In fact, I come from the first batch of the distance education. I took my MA there, MA in English Literature, and that is the starting point when I started exploring literature. Unlike ordinary students who just write an answer, they used to prescribe about 5 to 10 novels for one paper. All the novels తీసుకెళ్ళి చదివి దాన్ని అర్థం చేసుకుని ఒక క్వశ్చన్ కోసం I developed an interest in literature. And soon I found myself writing small seeds. అక్కడ డెక్కన్ హెరాల్డ్ అని బెంగళూరు నుండి వచ్చేది. వాటికి మిడిల్స్ వచ్చాయి కదా. I think you know what is the middle. Middlesకు I started contributing some small anecdotes. In fact, one day my house, there used to be a fellow who used to dump అప్పుడు ఈ ప్యాకెట్స్ లేదు, పాలను తీసుకొచ్చి దీనిలో పాత్ర పెడితే పోసి వెళ్ళిపోయేవాడు అనమాట. Every day the milk used to disappear. What is happening? And I quarreled with the milk vendor saying, "Sir, నేను అక్కడ పోస్ట్ వెళ్ళాను, మీరు తీసుకోకపోతే ఏం చేయండి." Then one day I kept watch what is happening to see. A small cat comes in at the correct time, drinks it up and goes away without spilling. హాయిగా తాగేసి వెళ్ళిపోయేది. So that became one of the middles. ఇలాంటి small experiences and how I fought with him and all చిన్నగా రాసి I started, and then I became an intern in Indian Express. Indian Express lo interniga velli cheranu. Those were in Chennai. Those were very good days. In fact, people, when I used to write bad English, they used to come and teach us how to go about writing, because I never knew anything about it. And it was at that time they said, "No, I think you will be good for arts page. Go to arts page." Some political reporting, they shifted me there, and that was the beginning. I never looked back. Art in the sense, I again concentrated on films. Upon films, writing about films, and slowly from Indian Express I started freelancing. I really, it was a great risk at those days. Left the job, freelancing, Hindustan Times, Hindu ku renduki rastundevadni, and it was paying me also. Till I made my first film, that is in only 2001. You can imagine it's about 34 years of journalism. And the real exposure was Deccan Herald, Indian Express. And then when I was writing, I think you know P.N. Nair. He spotted me and he asked me to go to Vijayawada as resident editor. I worked in Vijayawada. First Deccan Herald edition came under my residency, and from there again I jumped to Indian Express. They were bringing out some encyclopedias. Instead of reporting, I went to that and contributed to the encyclopedias. That was a fairly very cushy job, going only at about 2 hours a day and write something and come back. And there was a paper called Aside in Madras. It was totally Madras paper, Madras magazine. I joined them. It is there I met Jayanti Natarajan. Jayalalitha used to write about her own feelings about politics and cinema to that magazine. It was a pleasure working with all those contributors. And in fact, when P.V. Narasimha Rao won the election from Nandyal, I think. I was sent to, after everything was over, after he ascended to the throne, I went to Nandyal and see why they really wanted that man to come over. I felt it was just a matter of NTR's liberalism and ఏమన్నానండి ఆ లిబరల్ వేలో ఆయనకు ఛాన్స్ ఇచ్చారు. పివి నరసింహరావు got over. If NTR had not given that seat to పివి నరసింహరావు, he would not have gone. I mean, that's what I realized from my talking to all the people. Sir, NTR అడిగారు సార్, పివి నరసింహరావు ఓటు ఇవ్వండి, మేమంతా వేసాం. That was the kind of thing. So these are the life experiences. But then I thought when I was writing and writing and writing, I was getting nowhere. In fact, my worst period was when I was writing for screen. There were times when we used to be called, I think you must have experienced this, any film writer would have gone through all these troubles. They will call at the mid of the night and said, Nagarjuna is acting in my film, you have to write a piece for screen. And when we talk to Nagarjuna is so hearty, screen ka, ఎందుకండి ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ లేదండి, యువర్ ప్రొడ్యూసర్ వాంటెడ్ మీ టు రైట్. He didn't reply. You know, in one of, you know how it is done, all the journalists will come and sit down, they will talk some nonsense and get away. I was there. ఫ్లామబాయింట్గా ఏమో మాట్లాడుతుంటే అంతా నోట్ చేసుకున్నాను మైండ్లో. I came and simply typed off what a character he was. And those times Uditara Nair was there. She carried it fully, whatever I wrote about him. Again, there I got a bad name because I was frank with people. But at the same time, 1986 ikkada first International Film Festival took place. Then I was working with B. Narasimha Rao for his film Dasi, script rastunnanu. ఆ టైంలో B. Narasimha Rao suggested, since you have grounding, why don't we bring out a book on Telugu cinema in English? I really had nothing, no idea of Telugu cinema. I am a good viewer of Telugu cinema, but history అనేది ఏమి నాకు తెలియదు. So I went to Arudura and V.A.K. Rangarao, all these people, got some articles from them. In fact, it was such a troublesome thing. C పుల్లయ్యకు P పుల్లయ్యకు నాకు డిఫరెన్స్ తెలియదు. C పుల్లయ్య గురించి రాసి P పుల్లయ్య అని హెడ్లైన్ పెట్టాను. It was printed. Suddenly I noticed I made a mistake. ప్రగతి ప్రింటర్స్కి వెళ్ళి నాయన సీపులే కనిపించాలి సార్, ఇప్పుడేం చేస్తామో అంతా అయిపోయింది, వీఆర్ బైండింగ్ ద బుక్స్ అండ్ టుమారో ఈజ్ ది ఫంక్షన్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది.